What's going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of 2 for the show, episode 3 here. Super excited to be back with you guys so we can discuss some things with you. This podcast is sponsored by Ghost Picks ATS, and we are your hosts. I am Derek Dimes from Ghost Picks ATS. That is also my co-host, Bryce, and we're excited to be back here with you guys. So obviously we've been locked down. We've been quarantined. Any new shows that have been on your list, Bryce, that you want to discuss?
Not really any new shows. I'm still catching up on Better Call Saul. We did binge watch the Tiger King. We finished that up last night.
So far.
It was crazy, man. Crazy. Carol might have killed her husband.
No, there's no might. She definitely. Did you see they dropped a report yesterday? They said they reopened it.
I did see that. And then, I'm very open-minded with documentaries because you can convince somebody, whatever you want to,
right.
To display with a documentary. But when she said that bit with, about the tiger attacking his shoe, Tiger's not going to eat you if you got perfume on you. You'd have to use what did she say? Some kind of fish oil. And I'm like, that is way too specific. Yeah, sardine oil. I was like, whoa, that was way too specific.
I'm like, yo, you was just straight up ratted on yourself. Like, nobody knows nothing about sardine oil. Like, that tiger, he's been in there how many times, and nothing's really happened like that. And they came, right for his shoes. It was crazy.
It was crazy. But we wrapped that up. I watched a very dark, independent film called The Platform. If you like dark movies, it's a pretty good one. Check that out. And then I've been messing around with the PlayStation a little bit. Been playing this game called Dead by Daylight. A lot of people probably are familiar with it. I think it came out a few years ago. I'm always late to the party, so I just downloaded it, and it's a lot of fun. It's you can be a serial killer or a killer from like a horror movie, or you can be like a victim.
What?
And basically, the victims the survivors are all working together to try to escape this enclosed map. And there's one killer, and he's walking around, and he's basically live or die.
Really dope. What's it called?
It's called Dead by Daylight. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of other things to it, but basically that's the premise of the game. So it's a lot of fun.
I'm about to write that down right now. That's just going on. That's going on the list.
Put it on the list. And right now it's on PlayStation Store. It's $14.99 for the download. So
that's a steal.
That
is a steal and a half. That's a steal and a half. Yeah, that's going on my list for sure. A lot of 2K's been going on here. My nephew whooped up on me last night. Cold World, if you're watching. His name's Cole. I call him Cold World, but we played my team. We went against each other, and he whooped me, and I'm salty about it. So we're 1-1. So we got a little PlayStation 3 date or PlayStation 4 date after this. We record this podcast. Obviously, we watched Tiger King. We talked about the last episode a little bit there. And we've really watched the Ozark. We finished up last night with the Ozark season finale. Wow. If you follow me on Twitter, @DerekDimes, you saw me tweet it. Mind blown. I'm not going to ruin it for those who didn't see it, but this show is incredible. I mean, we start, I guess it just dropped Friday. And we're done already. And we tried our best to we're going to stretch it. We're going to stretch it. We're going, you know what I mean? Try not to watch them all.
Right.
It didn't work. It didn't work. So yeah, we're done already. We finished last night, 4 days, and it's kicked already. But great show, the Ozark. If you're looking for a show to get into, season 3, obviously it's only 3 seasons in, so plenty of time to watch. We're not going anywhere for another 30 days, it appears. So
right.
Yeah.
We got plenty of time to catch up on that. Were you the ones talking about the show The Stranger?
Yes. Also, that show, we finished that too. That is
nuts.
Way underrated. So it's in the UK, so they all have accents and stuff like that. But I liked it. It's definitely, you got to give it a chance. The beginning is a little slow, 1 or 2 episodes, but then it heats up and starts rattling off. I think there's only 8 episodes maybe, but I really like it. And basically the premise behind that is there's a woman who comes up to this married couple, and he goes up to the guy and says, tells him a secret about his wife that he doesn't even know. And he's like, how did you know this? And it just snowballs from there. And that's the very first episode. So
yeah, that would be really, really crazy.
Yeah, I know. I was watching, I was like, what the heck? What would you do if a stranger came up to you and was like, hey, did you know that your wife faked her pregnancy? You'd be like, what? You know what I mean? It would be like, first of all, is this true? And how do you know it?
Right.
So yeah, so it gets really crazy, really fast, and a lot of stuff happens. But I really liked it. We finished that as well. But quarantine time, man, just trying to spend some time with the family and stay as sane as possible.
I got you. Yeah, I was wondering why I put that in my list. I remember you talking about it now, so I'm gonna check
Yeah,
that out as well.
for sure. Speaking of list, that was a nice little segue there. We are going to talk about our list of our lifetime. So Bryce is 30, I am 33, that we have seen. So I say typically for me, that's probably about 1995 or so, 94, 95, where I really started watching and understanding basketball and seeing what was going on, probably about 8 or 9 years old. So we've made three lists essentially. Our first team, point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. First team, second team, third team, and then we'll discuss like the best guys that got left out. So we're going to start off with our first team, work our way down to the third team. I'll let Bryce lead this thing off. We'll start from the point guard and head on down from there. So give us what you got, Bryce. Point guard.
Okay, so my number one all-time NBA point guard in my lifetime that I've seen. I know you're gonna have something to say about it. He's a Carolina guy, but that's not why I chose him. It's Chris Paul. I know you don't like it. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's fine. It's my list. I'm gonna roll with it. You know, he might not have some of the other accolades or rings like other guys have, but as far as like a point guard, I think he is the best that I have seen in my lifetime. Great floor general, could go get you a bucket if he had to back in the day. And really, I think his one drawback and why he doesn't have those other things that those other guys have is just like crazy injuries at the worst possible time. Like there's several teams that he was on that, they were going to the finals.
I agree.
And it just didn't happen for him. But assists, rebounds, steals, defense, offense, the guy has it all. He does everything. He's a great teammate. He's a great leader. And he does it, and he's always quiet. So I like that guy. I like that in a point guard and a leader, and that's why he's number one for me. Who you got?
I love Chris Paul. He's not my top guy, obviously, but I have a ton of respect for him. Like you said, the injuries obviously are something that kind of knocks it for him. And I really, 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 I believe with that Rockets team where they were up, and I thought for sure that they were going to, get the Warriors out of there, and he goes down, and obviously they lose the series. But talking about the Warriors, my number one point guard in my lifetime, Steph Curry, man, three-time NBA champion, two-time MVP, 50, 40, 90 club. The list goes on and on and on. All of that has been accomplished before the age of 30. I don't know that I've seen a better point guard in my time as far as just putting the ball in the hole, and he makes his teammates significantly better. Passing the ball, the assist numbers aren't as high as, say, a Chris Paul or some of the other guys that I've seen, but his ability to score makes everyone else so much better. Stephen Curry is my all-time first-team Derek Dimes point guard. Shooting guard position, I think we don't even have to discuss. If you don't have the same one I do, then we're going to just end the show and we'll call it something else. But obviously, Michael Jordan is the shooting guard for me.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. We'll just leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Exactly. The GOAT.
Okay. All right. Small forward. We've got the same one. If we don't, I'm going to trade you in for somebody else, and that's LeBron James.
King James for sure. Baby GOAT. The one behind, I think, to me, is second all the time. We're not going to get in that discussion. We'll leave it at that. But LeBron, obviously, I think for quite some time has been the best small forward in basketball. For the past few years now, I think if he had retired, that he'd still be the best small forward in basketball. But
for sure.
Moving on to power forward, another position I believe that we'll have should be the same. Timmy D, man, Mr. Fundamental is my power forward all-time Derek Dimes first team.
I do not disagree. I have Tim Duncan as well. Know what you're going to get out of the guy night in and night out. Probably the quietest leader, ahead of Chris Paul. I love watching that guy play basketball. Another Carolina guy, obviously from Wake Forest, but what are the odds that I have two Wake Forest guys in my top five?
I know,
and a Carolina guy. What are the odds?
He was very mean. I feel like he kind of got like he was a lot more vicious in his younger days, with the dunks and a lot more aggressive. And he transitioned well when he got older to the bank shots, the fadeaways, and a lot more jumpers. But Tim Duncan in his early years, people kind of forget how vicious he was.
No, he was that front court with him and and David Robinson were something.
Admiral, yeah. D-Rob. Yeah.
And what you got?
Oh, what? Go ahead. What you say?
I was gonna roll out in my center unless you had some more.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Thunder with a Duncan. All right, my number one center is Shaquille O'Neal.
Same.
The ring says it all. You know, MVPs, everything the guy's done. I mean, that dude was a force in Orlando, and then he just kept getting better and better and better until he just wrapped it up there in Miami. Well, I say wrapped it up there in Miami, but Miami rings, LA rings, he did it better than Shaq.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think you could debate that he's the best center of all time. I think what really kills it for Shaq is just his level of not being the greatest center of all time, or is just he just didn't work that hard, But we knew when it was money time what we were going to get from Shaq, and that was absolute dominance, just putting people on a poster week after week, ripping down rims in his younger days. You know what I mean? Shaq was a force to be reckoned with for sure. Moving on to the second team, all Derek Dimes. I'm going to start with my point guard here, a guy that is just, they call him Mr. Triple Double for a reason. Jason Kidd is my point guard, second team, all Derek Dimes, second all time in assists, top 10 in 3-pointers made in the number 10 spot. I love Jason Kidd. To me, that is, when I think about a true point guard, I think about Jason Kidd. Obviously, besides the great, like in this era, I think about Jason Kidd.
Right. I'm right there with you. Jason Kidd, my number 2 all-time NBA point guard. Did you look at my list before we started doing this?
I don't know what's going on. We had no prior discussion, so this is actually impressive. We're what, four out of 5 right now? Or 4 out of 6?
1, 2, 3, 4.
5 out of 6.
We got 5 out of 6.
Impressive.
And I think we're probably going to go 6 out of 7 when my shooting guard is Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, that's a given. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant, one of the best to do it. It's hard to put him in the first team. I think a lot of guys, when they make their list, they make it guard. They don't say point guard, shooting guard, because you don't want to leave Kobe off the list. If you say first time in your era, it's hard to say like, oh yeah, Michael Jordan, like obviously, but Kobe's right there. I mean, 5 rings, 81. He gets them with Shaq, and then he turns back and gets a couple more with Powell and Bynum. You could go on and on about Kobe Bryant.
He was strong. He was strong. That guy, man.
What kind of comment is that?
I mean, he was strong. Like, he brought it. He's a good player. Yeah. I actually am kind of upset about Kobe, and for a number of reasons. I didn't actually appreciate him while he was playing. I was never a Kobe guy when he was playing. So I didn't truly watch him and appreciate him until I got older and everything like that. And that's one of the reasons why I actually like some guys now that I might not have liked, 10 years ago, because I actually appreciate the greatness that you guys have. And I wish I was like that before, because Kobe, the highlights that I see now is like, how did I not like that guy?
Bucket getter. I think a lot of that was just the narrative behind it was always that he was just so selfish. And then you see some of these documentaries roll out. You see some of these interviews roll out, and it's like, wow, they got it wrong. They got it wrong. That they painted a picture for us, and that changes how you perceive a player for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I bought into a lot of. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't like it. I can't even really remember why. It's probably stupid. But speaking of bucket getter, my small forward second team All NBA is Kevin Durant.
This is ridiculous. Why are we doing the show? We're gonna have the same. We're gonna have the same exact list, man. I'm here to debate. I'm not here to agree. Kevin Durant obviously is the second best small forward I've seen. 7-footer with handles. Good luck trying to guard him. Pulls up from 40 feet. Good luck trying to guard it. Back to the basket. Rebound. And then we saw lately in those last few finals that he could defend if he wants to.
Yes, he can.
Arguably, I think, the best scorer that we have ever seen. Like, if there's a guy you said that had to go get points, that's who I'm picking all time. Go get a bucket. It's Kevin Durant. How you going to guard him? Who you going to put on him?
It would be hard to pick somebody to guard the man.
Exactly. Moving on to the power forward position, I think we'll have some separation here. We'll see. I could be wrong. I'm going with the mailman, Karl Malone, second all time in points there. If it had not been for Michael Jeffrey Jordan, possibly he could have a couple rings at least with that Utah Jazz team, two-time MVP, phenomenal player. I mean, even at 95, he was in his 30s already, and he still was averaging 25, 26, 27 points per game for a number of years. Karl Malone is my second team all-power forward.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I really, really like Karl Malone. That Utah Jazz team, like you said, they could have had a couple rings had it not been for Michael Jordan. And that team, the offense was ran by Stockton, but it went through Malone. That was an
Right.
inside-out offense.
Right.
Karl Malone, very, very, very good. I don't hate it, but he's not number two on my list. Number two on my list is Kevin Garnett.
Yeah. KG.
I love the guy. MVP, Finals. He's got the ring. That's probably why I put him ahead of the mailman, just because he has a ring. But I really, really, really like Kevin Garnett. I always liked him. I liked him a lot more before he went to Boston, though.
All right.
Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Because now you're in an era where you get slighted if you don't have one. So, Karl Malone stayed in Utah, and then he tried to last minute go to LA to get one. And they probably should have won. I don't know how they lost that series. They had no business. Yeah, I mean, they had no business losing that series where he could have got a ring there, a little backdoor ring action. But, yeah, it definitely hurts you. So you can't slight a guy, I guess, for trying to get one or going to a team and getting a ring these days. But moving on to the center position, I went with Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. He could have moved down. I had another guy here in this spot that I kind of battled with for the second team. For me, I think it was just the way that he played against other centers, and when he did play, he was so dominant. Leading the league in blocks multiple times, leading the league in rebounds multiple times. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, I think, really paved the way for a lot of these younger guys as far as having actual skill. Like, you know what I mean? He was a skilled big man with the jump hook, the dream shake and all that. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon is my second team all Derek Dime center.
I don't hate it, but he's not my guy. I don't hate it, but he's not my guy.
Little friction now. I like it.
A little bit of difference here in our list. I'm gonna go with a guy that I've already mentioned, and that's David Robinson. I'm a big fan of the Spurs guys. And Robinson, one of the few guys that has an MVP and one Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. And he was always relatively healthy throughout his entire career. And I think that's probably why I bumped him a little bit above the guy that's on my third list. But like you said, I was wrestling with Robinson and another guy here at the second team All-NBA.
Nice. You're going to lead us off with the third team then. Who you got at the point guard position? Third team for Bryce. Point guard. We're definitely going to get some guys not here. I know third team is going to get sketchy, I feel like.
Yeah, probably will. But I've got a Carolina guy. He's your number one point guard. He's my number three, Steph Curry. Dude has – I mean, what hasn't he done? He has changed the NBA. He's changed basketball.
Right.
If you watch, any level of basketball, like high school on, everybody is – looking to pull up and splash on somebody's face. Nobody is wanting to drive on somebody and dunk on them anymore. The 30-foot jump shot is now the new dunk. And that's because of this Curry and the Splash Brothers. He's changed the NBA. And like you said, he's still got room to grow, and he's getting better. So I can't wait for the NBA to come back and watch him play.
It's so hard just to make, I think just this is kind of salvaging it for me a little bit to just talk about sports and get in front of the screen and talk and give some knowledge and some opinion about some of these guys. It's just fun in itself. But man, I really, really miss sports for sure. I
didn't mean to make a tear up there.
Yeah, did you hear me take that deep sigh? I was like, oh. Man, I love my family. I love my girl, but man, it's a lot of family time, bro. But moving on, my point guard here, Steve Nash is my point guard for the third team All NBA. He's had some deep runs there in the 2000s and kind of changed the way that the game was played as far as pace. So you've seen D'Antoni really bring in the tempo with these guys, and Steve Nash was kind of translated to today's game pretty well, where you see teams flying up and down the court, leading the league in assists multiple times. third all time in assists, back-to-back MVPs, a phenomenal player. I love Chris, because you see, I'm still thinking about Chris Paul. So for this spot, for me, it was either between Chris Paul and Steve Nash. And I went with Steve Nash only because the accolades. We talked about accolades with MVPs. He does not have an MVP. But it's no knock on Chris. He makes the honorable mention. But moving forward to a guy that we'll see what you think. I think, in my opinion, he's the top 4 shooting guard of all time. And that is Dwayne Wade. Is in my shooting guard position, third team, all Derek Dimes.
You just shocked me there. I cannot believe you didn't have AI right there. Philly guy, perfect spot for Allen Iverson. But I am not going to disagree with you. Dwayne Wade is the number 3 shooting guard that I've seen in my lifetime.
I like it. I like it.
That guy brought it every night and plays defense. And you guys know that I love guys that play defense. So.
Yeah, for sure. I love D Wade. I honestly, in my opinion, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league in his history. I think.
Right.
D-Wade, he's done so much that we kind of took it for granted. LeBron comes in and it kind of, I guess Wade kind of showed him how to win, how to get a ring, and learn how to play the game in the finals. But in that finals where they won, he was a man amongst boys. Just completely took over that finals game. And they had Shaq. I mean, it wasn't the same LA Shaq, but he was on the back half. But Dwayne Wade completely carried them the first time around. One of the best defenders, as you said. I believe he leads all shooting guards in blocks for a career. So tremendous defender, a bucket getter. And, man, I miss watching Wade play, man. Even remember those Marquette days, man? I know you remember those Marquette days.
Dude, vintage Wade, man.
Ridiculous. Double knee pad Wade. You know what I mean?
I can't even believe we're talking about like Dwayne Wade right now being slept on as a whole. Like I agree though. I think he's underrated and they're wrong. Vintage Wade is go back and watch some Dwayne Wade highlights from his college days and the Miami years where he won a ring without LeBron, and you can come back and tell me what you think. Speaking of guys that play defense, we're probably going to differ here with my third team All-NBA small forward. It's a guy that was predicated on defense. That's what he was known for. But all of a sudden, in the past few years, he has flipped the switch. He just won himself a ring. Kawhi Leonard.
Well, how the tables have turned, my friend. Kawhi Leonard's also my small forward for the third team. I'm actually stunned that we've had so many of the same players.
I can't believe it.
I'm actually stunned. But Kawhi Leonard is my small forward here, third team, all Derek Dimes. Obviously, like you said, came in with the defense and was groomed by I don't know who they got over there in player development in San Antonio, but they've done a phenomenal job. The guys that they bring in seem to just transition into being all-stars and sometimes superstars. This Kawhi Leonard, like if you guys remember, this is the same guy from San Diego State. He couldn't shoot the ball that well. Yeah, you know what I mean? He was athletic. He could get to the rim. He had a decent mid-range, but, I mean, he's shooting a 3 with conviction now. He's a great free throw shooter, and we already knew he could play defense. But Kawhi Leonard, he needs that MVP, I think, to move him up as far as all-time goes, and he's still got some time to do that. And just staying on the court, I think, is a big thing for him, too. But Kawhi Leonard also is in my small forward spot. Moving on to power forward, I think, is going to be a surprise here for me. I know most people are looking for me. They're saying, hey, man, your list sucks. You got Karl Malone. You got Tim Duncan. Where's Garnett? He's not going to appear here, guys. Sorry to disappoint you. I'm going with Dirk Nowitzki in my third power forward spot, giving out 50 pieces in the playoffs consistently, gets a ring with a team who had no business getting one, in my opinion, with those Dallas Mavericks teams. MVP, 6, I believe, all-time at points. And just a complete bucket getter. Arguably, I think, the best international player we've ever seen.
As of right now, he's the best international player.
Well, I'm saying we're talking about right now. I mean,
I know. You're right.
Luka got some years yet, all right? Luka got a lot of years left. He's only 21? He got a lot of ball. He's good. I'm not going to take – he's a really good player. But he got a lot to prove still. He ain't get to the playoffs yet.
No, Dirk is great. I don't hate you for that, having him right there. Matter of fact, I had him written down as my top 4 guys, so he just missed the cusp here. My number 3 guy is Karl Malone.
Oh, so we flipped.
I went Duncan, Garnett, Malone, and then Dirk. So I don't hate you for having Dirk there. Although I'm not sure how you don't have KG somewhere on there or Chris Paul. But you know what? We won't argue.
That's honestly. So when I was making this list, if you can see my list, it's just scribbles. There's scribbles everywhere because I kept changing my power forward. The second team and third team power forward switched. So initially I had KG in my second team, and then I had KG on my third team. And then I was like, how am I going to leave out Karl Malone? Karl Malone I got 2 MVPs that I witnessed. How could he not make the list? These guys got 1, he's got 2. So Karl had to be on the list, and then one of those guys had to go out. So I just thought it was more impressive the way that Dirk did it with Dallas. They're 2 different styles of basketball. I love Garnett's, like the way that he plays. I just think that the way that Dirk can take over a game was much different than the way that Kevin Garnett kind of did it with defense and Dirk did it with offense.
Right.
Going into go ahead.
Dirk and those Mavs had no business winning that finals, by the way.
None.
And that is why LeBron is not the GOAT. It's not the GOAT. Moving on. I had to get that little jab in there. I had to get the little jab in there. That's why. That is why it's not. That's it. All right, moving on. I'm sorry. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on.
It ain't. Nope. Like I tell people, if you got a kid, you telling him you want him to be like LeBron. You don't want him to be like Jordan. Everybody can't be Jordan, bro. Everybody can't be LeBron either, but you got a better chance being LeBron than you do Jordan. Jordan didn't always make the best play. Jordan lost a lot more than he won, bro. This dude ain't been to the playoffs every year except last year, and he was hurt. He been to the playoffs, never lost first round. You know what I mean? 8 straight finals. Come on, man. Jordan's out here taking breaks. He's playing against expansion teams, played against the Vancouver Grizzlies. Do you remember how bad they were? Come on, man. The Toronto Raptors when they first came in. Expansion came, and you were only allowed to keep a certain number of players. So there were teams that had great players that got broken up. He played in a good – he's lucky, not lucky, because I think it still would have been great, but that expansion area has to be taken into consideration. The time off has to be taken into consideration. He comes back and loses to Shaq and the Magic. And how good was the Bulls team? Well, the years that he didn't play, they still went to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost 1 less game. So that team was pretty good without him. LeBron leaves team and they implode. That shows you how good he is and how bad some of those teams were. Come on, man. Some of those Cavs teams had no business in the NBA Finals, bro. Daniel Gibson, freaking Sasha Pavlovich, Danielle Marshall. Dude, these teams were laughable. Laughable. The greatness of LeBron. Not saying that he is the greatest, but if he wins 2 more rings, it's a legitimate I think it's a conversation now, but I think he could possibly win 1 or 2 more. If he wins 1 or 2 more and grabs an MVP, crown him. Anyway, you got me riled up. We're off topic. And then I'm going. My center is D-Rob, the Admiral. You got him, I think, second team. He's in my third team. David Robinson is my third team center for all the reasons that you pretty much noted before. Defensive and regular season MVP. Not many guys have that. The only I get.
Who has that? Who also has that?
I don't know. I forgot. So we just want to skip through that. I don't know that guy, but it's Jordan. I know, but whatever. To me, that's the leg up that he has on LeBron. That's the only leg up I think he has on LeBron.
Oh, so because he plays defense and LeBron.
No. LeBron got to do a lot. LeBron had to do a lot more than Jordan had to do. Let's be real. He ain't never had a teammate as good as Pippen. Exactly. Never. I said it.
Dwayne Wade?
He's not as good.
Bro, oh my gosh.
Would you take
Really?
It's debatable.
Oh, okay. Because
has he ever had a better coach? No. Has he ever had a better roster? No. He's never had a great roster.
Bro. Dude. Okay, then why didn't Scottie Pippen make your list down here?
In my list? Because he wasn't a bucket getter. He played with Jordan. He couldn't get buckets. Jordan was jacked up.
Oh my gosh. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I like Pippen, but I don't think he's not. Come on, man. You're talking about Kevin Durant and LeBron James. He can't be better than them.
Kawhi can be better than Kawhi.
He's not. So Kawhi is the same. Like, if you're talking about defense, they're the same defensively, and Kawhi is much better offensively.
All right. We'll
okay, all right, I'm going to ask you this.
We'll square this way.
I'm going to ask you this, and I'll leave it alone. Will Kawhi be above or below on the all-time small forward list when it comes to Scottie Pippen? He's going to be above him or below him? Is he going to pass him?
I'm going to say he's above him. You're the one saying that Scottie Pippen is better than Dwayne Wade.
He is.
Oh, all right. Moving on. We will talk about this another day. We'll set aside another time to talk about this.
I'm just stirring up the pot.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I mean, you have to get me riled up with something because you won't play me in Madden. You won't play me in 2K.
Here we go. You don't want that 2K work. You don't want that 2K work. But man,
I don't want the 2K. But you can get this Madden smoke. You can get this smoke over here.
That's cool.
My center for anchoring my third team All NBA of my lifetime is Olajuwon. Like I said, with Robinson, I just put him just there, just above Olajuwon because he was relatively more healthy, and then he had the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year.
Fair.
But
Fair.
So what about some guys that didn't quite make your cut? Steve Nash barely missed the cut for me. Same with Dirk. I said that before, and then Allen Iverson. What about you?
Allen Iverson for sure is the first one at the very top of my list, but it's hard for me to put him above some of these other guys. Obviously, I kind of played devil's advocate there with Dwayne Wade saying that Pippen was better than him. Obviously, that's false. But, so Iverson, I just wanted to rally you up. But Iverson is certainly at the top of my list. Kevin Garnett is right there. Chris Paul as well made your list, but to me, it was between him or Nash for third team. A lot of guys. You can go. T-Mac was incredible. Ray Allen, Reggie Miller. How about Reggie Miller? If it wasn't for Jordan, he might have had some rings as well in the Eastern Conference Finals. He goes up against the almighty Michael Jordan and the Bulls, and they lose. Manu Ginobili, Patrick Ewing, Tony Parker, Gilbert Arenas. How about Hibachi, man?
Dude, Gilbert Arenas.
How about Hibachi?
You remember that run he went on?
Ridiculous. 50, 40, 50, 40, 38, 39, 50. I was like, this boy is shooting from half court. He was shooting from the hash mark, bro. He didn't play no defense, but he could score his butt off.
There's a bunch of people that's going to be listening to this podcast that probably don't even know what we're talking about. Go back and watch some Gilbert Arenas highlights in his vintage days. What was that, like 2005, 2006, 2007?
I'm not even sure. I'm not even going to quote it because I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that was back about that time frame. Go back and watch some Gilbert Arenas.
I'm about to pull it up because I already got that thing ready to roll here. But yeah, Hibachi was the man. He was a guy that I loved. He was almost like Curry, but he was bigger. But yeah, I mean, at one point in his career, he was at 25 points per game, 29 points per game, 28 points per game. So this guy was a bucket getter. And then he just fools around and pulls out pistols in the locker room and kind of ruined his career. But I was a big time Gilbert Arenas fan. I think that he's kind of slept on and forgot about as well. 10 years in the NBA, kind of short. But yeah, I'm a big time Gilbert fan. I listen to his pod. You listen to his pod? It's pretty good.
No, I don't.
What's it called?
Pretty good.
Yeah, but it's not bad. He's like wild, like super, super wild and real. But he has some good takes on it. I like it. Some good stuff. But anybody else on your list that you wanted to mention?
I think Paul Pierce deserves a word, even though he didn't. Yeah, I know you don't like Paul Pierce, Boston guy.
Not even that. It's not even about like Paul. I've never been a guy. Everyone has a couple players that they just don't like. He's at the top of my list. I've never liked Paul Pierce. I don't like his game. I don't like his style. He was like in a time where people were very physical, kind of. He was still like flailing around and like fake, like just the same dude that got wheelchaired off the court. Like I was just never a Paul Pierce fan at all. So I was kind of happy when Draymond yelled to him like, "They don't love you." You know what I mean? You not getting that farewell party. You not Kobe. Oh, you thought you was Kobe? That kind of made me happy. Yeah, I mean, it was a dig. It kind of did. I ain't gonna lie. So I respect him for sure. Great basketball player. Him and Antoine Walker had some nice runs there. But yeah, I can't stand the guy. I don't even know why. I just don't like him.
All right. Derek Dimes does not like Paul Pierce.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for my list. Vince Carter. Did we save it? Did I say Vince Carter, man? Vinsanity was insane. I don't think he gets enough credit for just being a scorer. And you know what I mean? Like, he kind of was just known as a dunker for some time, and he's worked his way up in his career. And I think he's in that top. I think he's top 10 in 3-pointers made.
He absolutely is top 10 3-pointers.
Yeah, six now, and 3-pointers made in his career. So he's turned himself into I mean, is he going to be first ballot Hall of Famer, you think?
I think he should be.
Right.
I think he should be. I just hate that he's never really got there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even in his prime, he never really was on a team that could make a deep run. Him and McGrady, if they wouldn't have split that Raptors team up, right. McGrady, another guy, you know?
Right. Yeah.
He could have been one of the all-times had he not got hurt so many times.
Man, that list, we can make one of those lists. The all-time list of guys that could have been, you know what I mean, should have, would have, could have, should have been list would be crazy, you know.
I like it. We'll make one of those lists too, and we'll touch on the college basketball next time around.
I'm having a hard time. Lifetime top 10.
College basketball.
I'm having a tough time. There's a lot of players. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of guys. So yeah, I'm working on it. I got, I think, three guaranteed guys on my list so far. But yeah, so you guys tune in. Do you have anything else you'd like to comment before I start taking us out of here?
No, I think that's it, man.
Yeah, so super excited to be back on here with you, man. It's been a pleasure going through our top first team, second team, third team list of our era. Great content. Hopefully we can try to get some more stuff out to you guys. I'm working on getting it on all platforms right now. I know it is on Spotify. If you go to 2 for the show, the number 2 for the show, and you should be able to check out the first 2 episodes where we talk about NFL free agency and the ESPN bracket. How about that player bracket before we get out of here, man? I thought that was extremely biased.
It was extremely biased. The last I saw was Larry Bird versus Michael Jordan, and that bracket is why we had these 2 episodes of the podcast. But Michael Jordan is probably going to win that just based off of Michael Jordan. But I want to be crystal clear with this. Michael Jordan was the best NBA player of all time. He was not the best college basketball of all time, and it's not close.
Right.
And I'm just gonna. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. He's not, but he's gonna win this contest because people don't know what they're talking about. Right. Larry Bird is by far the better college basketball player, in my opinion. What he did with Indiana State back in the day,
not even close. I don't even think it's close. I don't even think, as far as we're saying,
far better of a college basketball player.
Right. I don't even think it's close if we're talking about college. There's so many guys on that list. I can't even believe how it got down to that. I don't know how Kareem doesn't make it. How does like these dudes want to? They made rules so he had to stop dunking. That he was dominating the game. Like, that's crazy. They literally were like, stop dunking. You're dunking too much, so you can't dunk anymore. Like, that's crazy, bro. Like, how many games in a row did they win? 100-something games. Like, he has records that are like I say, when records are crazy, I call them Barry Bonds records, bro. He has Barry Bonds records with some of the stuff that he's done in college. Just a winner on all levels. But yeah, I don't agree with that. We could talk about it forever, but just wanted to mention it. So next time on 2 for the show, guys, we're going to talk about our top 10 college players of our time, of our era, Bryce and Dimes. So roughly 25 years or so, give or take a few years, on our top 10 best college players that we've seen in our lifetime. So make sure that you tune in, guys. We're going to make sure we post something weekly here for you and continue to pound out some content while you're locked indoors, craving for sports as we are. Check out my brothers on Ghost Picks, ATS, Jack, Jimmy, Benny, obviously Bryce, and myself, all on YouTube. You just put in Ghost Picks and then our name. So Ghost Picks Bryce or Ghost Picks Derek, you go to the page and check us out. Make sure you subscribe there. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Twitter handle is @DerekDimes. What's your handle there, Bryce?
It's @GhostPicksBryce.
@GhostPicksBryce. So make sure you follow everybody. Stay linked up. As we're going to just talk about things all day on Twitter and interact with you guys and keep it moving. So I'm sure these lists will get things stirred up Make sure you comment with us maybe in the comment section below. Comment with us on Twitter and let me know who you think should have made it. What are your lists? What are your thoughts? Who was left out? Who shouldn't be in? And whatever the case may be. I know you guys don't agree that Chris Paul should be first team either, but we'll let it slide on Bryce this time because, he thinks he's good at men. So we'll have to let him know that Derek Dimes ain't playing no game. You hear me?
I tell you what, anybody listening to this, if you're on Spotify or iTunes or YouTube or whatever, if you want this smoke, if you want the sticks in Madden, let me know. I got the PlayStation 4. We will make it happen because clearly this guy is too scared. He's just gonna talk. He's gonna talk some noise, but he will never step up to the platform. But it's okay. Drop your PlayStation ID, and we will get linked up, and you can have all the smoke you can handle in that. Let's go.
All right, guys. So I'm done poking the bear. We're going to go out here and enjoy the rest of our day. I would advise that you do the same, guys. It is Bryce and Derek Dimes. It's been a pleasure dealing with you guys. We're going to send you out of here with, like we always do, with our motto here at Ghost Picks ATS, guys. That's 3 G's a ghost. G times 3 is how I personally say it, guys. God bless, as always. Good luck, and continue to grind on.